just follow your trail and I'm losing your mind and I'm losing your head. Let me escape from this love, cause I'm a prisoner. I just want to look my way and never back to you.
I'm gonna tell you what, the intro song was never more right than today, wasn't it? Let me be myself, because I'm not about this. Yeah, guys, let me be myself. Let me be myself. Mr. Cody Mack, what's going on, man?
Well, got my cup of tea, and I've got some Christmas tea today.
It's not Christmas yet, bro.
Oh, no, it's Christmas, man. Today is the gift that just keeps on giving.
Well, we did have Christmas in July yesterday, technically. Or was it the day before? Whatever day the 25th was. It's all blended together. All blended together for me now.
It's just every day is Christmas when you're a Spurs fan. What other club can drag you this way and that so effectively every single day of your life? They're not even playing.
Yeah, man. Look, it is what it is. You know, people are going to say what people are going to say. People are going to get excited, and then people are going to get disappointed. I've refused this summer to let myself get overly excited. Do I have a positive outlook on the season? Do I think that with Nuno and if we get the right players in, that we could have a very successful season next season? Absolutely. Absolutely do. Am I weighing all of my hopes and dreams on a number 2 keeper and a squad player? No. Not. Right? It's not. You know, excuse me for being reasonable and rational.
There is no room for reason or rationality, man.
Oh, I know, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people in the fantasy league now. We need at least one more before the prizes go out. So I am going to click this link, and this is an auto join link. It may not work directly from the YouTube app. I don't know. I haven't clicked it. But there's that there. If you want a chance to join, I've pinned it to the top of the chat. If you want a chance to join the channel's fantasy league, right? If you hate me, show me you know more about football than me by kicking my butt in FPL. Or if you just like FPL, join it because it's going to be cool. I'm going to be doing weekly FPL videos. I'm thinking about doing the weekly FPL videos on Wednesday afternoons, so around 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. Just there probably won't be like a super long video. It may only be like an hour or two. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to be going over. I'm going to be doing probably the first one will be on August 10th. The season starts on the 13th, so 10th or 11th, and I'll be doing one for kind of like showing like your kind of like the final pick of the season. So, if you guys are interested in that, that's the information on that one. You ever played FPL, Cody? You should. It's a good time. It's fun.
Oh man, it's just a time thing.
But you just do it to do it. It's just have fun. And like the first season I did it. The first season I did it, I just did it.
I can't.
And if I paid attention, I paid attention. If I didn't, I didn't. The second season, I got a little bit more into it. Third season, I got a little more into it. And last year, up until the last, probably up until about the time that I started this channel, I was really into it and I was doing really well. And then the amount of, craphousery, I didn't mean to hide that. Sorry, Legend 27. I hit the wrong button. But yeah, man, it's I think it's fun. I enjoy it. We got John in here with a £5 super chat. Why is that not going on the screen? There
I
it goes.
put it on there before you clicked.
Oh, we must have double clicked it, huh? And he says, I think we will suffer the first few weeks of the season until we get players in by the end of the window. Yes. Right now, that's looking how it's going to go. But you know what? It is what it is, I suppose. It is what it is. So right now, the chat is open for everyone. And as long as things stay cool, it'll be open for everyone on this show. But if I get one trolley troll, I'm going to make it subscriber only. Because if you're going to troll me, you're going to have to subscribe to me.
Nah, bring the trolls. Come on.
Bring them. But if you do, that's how it works. But everybody here so far, everybody I've seen in the chat right now is great. Great folks. Great folky folks. We got Mr. Bobspur in the house. Bobspur hit 1,000 subscribers, yesterday, 2 days ago? Big up, Bob. It's about time, man.
He's almost at 1,100 now, too.
Yeah, it was a crime that Bob wasn't at 1,000 a month ago, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I know everybody tells Bob to piss off. I like Bob.
That's
anybody
why
who's bald and has a beard. Anybody who is bald and has a beard, you're a friend of mine. If you're bald, maybe we can be friends, acquaintances. If you have a beard, we can be friends and acquaintances. But if you're bald and bearded, I love you. That's why I love Nuno as much as I do. But people that still keep the channel alive, Cody, and I can't believe that they're still on there. I haven't checked in a while. Maybe a lot of these people aren't Patreons anymore. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to go look. Spartan 7 Game, Wayne Potter, Mama Coach, Celery Agent, AG Gogama, Tony Go, Alex Burleton, and Bob Spur TV. We do have that if you guys want to help support the channel. I've got Cody. I don't know if you know. I don't know if it hasn't been mentioned a million times, but I am moving this week at some point in time. And I've got a lot of cool stuff in mind. I have invested in you guys far more than I've ever made from the channel for this new studio. Thousands of dollars. I'm done it. I'm all in. I've put my chips in. I'm talking multiple camera views, right? A table. It's like Joe Rogan meets the kickoff meets, whatever's going on, and hopefully the people at home will enjoy it. Hopefully the people at home will enjoy it. But I'm all in on this thing, folks. I'm all in on it.
When's the big day? When's the big move?
So, oh gosh, man, this thing has been if you thought life during a pandemic was difficult, try moving during a pandemic. Holy cow. And then moving south during a pandemic because everybody's fleeing New York and California. I'm not kidding you. On like Zillow or rent.com, there were 2 houses in the entire city that I live in now that were for rent. 2. Which means we had to go to a bigger metropolitan area. So moved down to Atlanta. Even then, a house would come on and it would go off in less than probably 12 days. And even the ones that you would apply for, it would be like 7 applications already put in. So it's not like it was even first come, first serve. It was literally like the homeowner was like, who should I choose today? Right? Like the options, the competitiveness in this was insane. So I had to bump it up to 2 years and 2 times the deposit. And like I had to make all of these bargaining chips in order to make sure that we got a spot. I out of hope and confidence that we were going to get a place. It wasn't our first choice, wasn't our second choice, but it's acceptable living accommodations for me and my family in my company. But out of confidence, I set a date that I was going to move, and I scheduled the movers. Sunday, he calls me and says, driver's test positive for COVID. We're going to have to reschedule, but we can't reschedule until middle of August. We're completely booked up until then. And I said, my lease ends on the 1st. So tell me how that works, buddy. Start calling every other movie company and their brother-in-law everyone's telling me book solid to August, middle of August. Everyone. My landlord, or the housing manager, the manager of from the leasing agency, starts giving me recommendations and calling movers. Books dead solid to the middle of August. Finally, my wife gets on the phone and starts calling Korean folks. And we found a guy who could do it on August 5th. So not this week, but next week. Which is better than the 15th. But it's just a matter of whether my landlord or not is going to make me pay an entire month's rent for being in the house for an extra 6 days. So that's my long story. But that's it in its entirety.
Yeah, I don't envy you. Things are like, you talk about people fleeing New York and coming south. It's kind of like the same thing here. People are, I live in the middle of cottage country in Ontario, and right now it's an absolute zoo up here. Everyone and their whole family has come up to the cottage. And the housing market, I mean, it's two sides of one coin. Like, I could sell my place for a huge profit, but I'd be
paying that right back into something else when you're buying it.
Yeah. Thankfully, the market is starting to show some signs of cooling down, but generally, the housing situation up here is it's not great.
That's why the homeowner here, from the lady that we rent from, that's why she's selling it. It's because she thinks that she's gonna, because this for her is an investment property, so she's just not buying anything else, right? So, she already has a house that she lives in. So for her, it's just make mad profit. I think she bought the house for like $450,000, and then she's gonna be able to sell it for like $620 or something like that. I mean, it's just crazy amounts. Not to mention what she's already paid off on the lease. You know what I mean? So, or on the loan, on the mortgage. Yep. But yeah, it's a crazy world out there right now. And for anybody who's a renter or anybody who's looking to buy a home, I feel your pain, friends. I feel your pain. Like, even the mover guys said they've never had a period where they've been booked out 3 and 4 weeks in advance in entirety. They've got like 2 or 3 local moves a day, not to mention moves into other states. It's nuts out there right now, folks. It's nuts out there. Don't relocate if you don't have to right now. Now is not the time. Not the time. But back to Tottenham news. We've signed what a last name for a goalie. Mr. Gollini and Mr. Hill. How are you feeling about that, Cody? You like to sit back there and stir the pot, but you don't ever offer your own opinion on things.
You know what? Like, what it comes to Gollini, Pierluigi Gollini. Yeah, it's like a golfer whose last name is Shanks, right? Just
right, yeah. A striker's last name is Striker.
He seems like a bit. He seems like a bit of a character in terms of, being a rapper, and he's already kind of made some public statements and everything.
Is he a rapper, or is he somebody who thinks he's a rapper?
From what I understand, like, the thing is, like, he doesn't exactly have the greatest, like, goals against record, and I think that there has been a falling out with him and the Atalanta manager Gasperini. I think it's opportunistic. I like the move. I mean, it's I would rather have brought in a second option this summer than wait until next summer and be left with Hugo Lloris probably leaving. If he isn't leaving this summer, I think there's an outside chance we move him on. So I don't have a problem with it. He has a lot of first team experience. I think he had the 3rd most clean sheets in the Serie A last year. He's 26, so decent age for a keeper, kind of starting to come into his prime a little bit. And it's also appears to be a bit of a clever construction in terms of the loan with option to buy that turns into an obligation if he plays, I think, 20 top-level matches. So I definitely would rather have Gollini playing in the Europa Conference League, in the FA Cup, in the League Cup, than Joe Hart or Alfie Whiteman. So I don't have a problem with that. Maybe not our most glaring need, but it's a move that's been done with some foresight, in my opinion. As far as Bryan Heel, I'm kind of excited about it in some ways, because from what I know about having researched Fabio Paratici is that his main background before he became big at Juve was in scouting. So
can I pause right there? Can I pause right there? Name one player that he found that is a world-class player today.
Paul Pogba.
Is Paul Pogba world-class?
I consider Paul Pogba world-class, yes.
I don't consider Paul Pogba world-class. I don't.
Agree to disagree. I mean, could bring up the
He's
Juve
good.
Transfer record.
But I mean, everybody's saying he's this brilliant scouting of character of young talent. I mean, what players did he develop? I mean, did he scout? Did he bring out of obscurity into greatness? I think Paul Pogba is a showboat. I think he is way, 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 way overrated. He's a player. He could play football, otherwise he wouldn't be a professional. I don't think Paul Pogba's world class, though.
Okay. I mean, you're talking about a player that he signed on a free transfer and sold for over 100 million euros, though. So,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that there would be a lot of people that would disagree with you.
I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that would agree with me, though, that Paul Pogba's not world class. You know what I mean?
Well, how many world-class players have we brought up?
Harry Kane, Human Son.
Okay. No, not Son. We didn't bring him through.
No, I'm not talking about bringing through. I'm talking about signing out of obscurity, right? A no name that nobody knew of who's become a world class player.
Right, but how? Like, if you're not considering Paul Pogba to be a world-class player, like you're talking about a micro pool, an absolute micro pool of players. Like, really,
There's a lot of players. There's a lot of midfielders that I think are better than Paul Pogba.
there's tons and
because
tons
I'm
and
not
tons of
including Paul
clubs
Pogba in that.
that would not qualify as having brought through any world-class
Okay,
players.
so I'll give Paul Pogba, but besides Paul Pogba, is there anyone else who is a quality player who would immediately walk into our first 11 that wasn't already an established player before then? Maybe the folks in the comments can help us out. I don't know. I haven't researched this, but everybody keeps stating this, and I haven't seen any evidence for it.
I mean, like, are you saying that it has to be a player who was basically unknown when he was purchased?
Right, so yeah, has to be unknown when he was purchased, because that's what scouting, right? If you're a scouting master, that means you're finding players that are obscure and you've brought them into the limelight. So see, the key word here,
Well,
revitalize.
the thing is, my statement was that his background is in scouting. I didn't say he was one of the best scouts in the world.
Vidal.
All right. I've got the Juventus transfer market page up here. Let's see. He bought Bonucci in 2010. Arturo Vidal. I mean, it's a pretty high bar to set to say, you can only be a good scout if you're spotting world class. And you're not including Paul Pogba as world class.
A good scout is what I'm saying. A good scout is bringing Son, who was a decent player and is now world class, right? For the fee that we brought him in, a good scout would have been bringing in Dele Alli from MK Dons, right? If his form would have continued, a good scout is bringing Messi over at 13. A good scout is Sir Alex Ferguson seeing Ronaldo at the age of 18 and bringing him directly to Manchester United, right?
Okay, so Ciro Immobile, Domenico Berardi.
I don't know who either of those people are.
You don't know who Ciro Immobile is?
Mobile, Italian striker, but I don't think of him as being that great. He's good.
Okay, like how many players fit into this pool that you're talking about if Paul Pogba and Ciro Immobile don't fit in there? Worldwide, like 40?
Right, but I'm saying, but people
where
are
does
making
Paul
him
Pogba
out.
fit
Hold
on
on.
the list of like the most talented players in the world right now?
No, not even top 10.
Okay, so that's fine, right? But does he
I
have
already
to?
conceded Paul Pogba is one. If Paul Pogba was a little boy in France and nobody knew about him and he pulled him out of obscurity or he pulled him out of a club and brought him to Italy, I think he was playing at Manchester United before he even went to Italy, was he not? So
Yeah, I just want to know what the definition is here of what would define a successful scout, right?
scout.
I mean, if we're talking about a player pool that is 40 players
We'll
in
take
world
Man City.
football right now?
Take Man City, for example. Man City don't scout. They go out and buy players that are already
No,
quality.
they shop quite a bit in the teens, in the 16, 17, 18-year-olds. They'll pay 15 to 17 million for teenagers, where we're paying 15 to 17 million for 28-year-olds like Matt Doherty. They operate under the radar a little bit in that. Look at Phil Foden. Maybe not world class yet, but on his way, right? Spinazzola went through the Juventus system. Kingsley Coman went through the Juventus system, right? Patrice Evra went through the system. Alvaro Morata. I mean, there's players who have had moments,
but I'm not impressed. Right? Is what I'm saying. I'm not impressed. The people.
Okay, who is a scout that impresses you? You name 5 scouts that impress you.
The guy we had before Steve Hitchen.
You don't even know his name.
Can't remember it off the top of his name, but I do know his name.
Paul Mitchell.
Paul Mitchell. He was good. Really good.
Okay, who did he bring through that is world class other than what? Son? Was he responsible for bringing Heung-min Son in?
Yeah. Son.
Okay, so Son. That's one.
I mean, anybody who signed during the Redknapp era, pretty much.
I don't think Paul Mitchell was here during the Redknapp era.
In between, he came at the end of the Redknapp era. So in between Redknapp and Poch, all those players, Yan, Toby, anyone who signed from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay, are there any other scouts that impress you?
I don't know. I'm not a scouting expert. But my point is the way people are talking about Paratici. This isn't a dig at Paratici, but people are talking about him like he's infallible.
No, not me.
Yes, no, maybe not you, but you damn well know that there are people out there that trust Paratici. Right, this is Paratici signing, therefore it must be good.
Right, but
right. This is what I'm arguing against, right? Paratici could very well be a very good director of football, right? What I'm saying is just because Paratici signed someone doesn't mean they're going to be good. That's what I'm saying.
Well, nobody was saying that. You asked me what I thought about Gollini and Bryan Gill.
Yeah,
you asked me what I thought
and that's
about
why I stopped
Gollini
you mid-sentence
Gill.
was because I wanted to clarify. I wanted to get your opinion on what level. I wanted to hear from you on what level are you classifying Paratici as being that. If that's not your case, then you can continue on with your opinion on Gill. But my argument here is because, and you're well aware, we've both been in the same conversation all damn day. So let's not pretend like this is out of nowhere. There are people out there who claim that because Paratici is Paratici, therefore all the players he signs must therefore be good. There are people who are asserting that. True or false?
There's always going to be I don't like who. Are you just talking about random Twitter users or people that
people in our group chat?
In our group chat.
Yeah. Educated people whose opinions I appreciate.
Right. I don't remember anyone saying that regardless of who we sign, it'll be a good move because of Fabio Paratici.
Well, that's their thing on Gil, right? The reason why Hill is a good signing is because Paratici has seen something in him, even from the time because Paratici, Juventus was interested in Hill back when he was like, under 13s or whatever. Because Paratici has signed him, therefore, even though there is no rational or reasonable reason to assume that he's going to be a great player today, because of that, because Paratici has seen it, and he is Paratici, we therefore must then trust that Hill is going to be the next Paul Pogba.
Well, that's not certainly an argument that I would make.
That's not the argument that I would make either. But there are people making that argument.
I would argue that I would trust Paratici to make a decision on football personnel over Daniel Levy any day of the week.
Oh, 1,000%. I would. My 12-year-old son would make better footballing decisions than Daniel Levy any day of the week.
Well, that's probably a lot of what's going on in terms of the whole getting carried away. That's the nature of fandom. That's you put any 40 people into a group chat who support the same club, and you will always get 10% of those people who you could pick any topic you want. There will always be a faction that take something and run with it and go over the top. And a lot of times it's just playful exaggeration as well, right? Sometimes you have people that seriously believe what they're saying, but not always. But I mean, as far as
Bryan, like Dietrich, I love you, man. I love you, dude. You know I do. And you've come on my rant show a bunch of times, and you're welcome on too. As soon as those start happening again, after I get out of this move, keep going out of town every weekend. But so you saw him last season, and he's a baller. He's going to be the Neto with 5. There's no evidence for that.
Well,
I don't see it.
There's very little evidence to digest at this point. The kid is 20 years old.
That's my point. There's no evidence. So let's just be cool and say, okay, great. We got a great hope for the future.
People can make those comments in the context, right?
It's not contextual.
But he is not saying that this guy is going to
be
next
Neto. That's exactly what he said. He is going to be the next Neto with 5-star skills.
But that's
his assertion.
When somebody says he's going to be a baller.
No. I'm not talking about the baller. You can say he's a baller. I think he's a baller. He can play. I think he's got great dribbling skills. But he said he'll become like Neto with 5-star skills. That's the assertion that I have conflict with. Not the baller part.
But that's just an opinion, right? He can't prove that.
No, that's an assertion.
No, think.
He will become.
Dietrich Kane is hereby guaranteeing that Bryan Hill.
That's what he wrote. He will. What does will mean? It means it is destined to happen. He will become like Neto with 5-star skills. That is an assertion by the definition of an assertion.
But any intellectual person can look at a statement like that and realize that it's basically hogwash. He can't prove
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's hogwash. So
he can't prove something that hasn't happened already, right?
Exactly. Or that you don't have evidence. You can have reasonable and rational.
He promises. That's good enough. He promise.
I promise you. That's an assertion.
Here's how I look at when someone makes a comment like that. I include the context of the fact that this is a 20-year-old kid, right?
Okay.
When someone says something like that, I don't just take the words and take it as gospel and whatever, and you can hold someone to that if you want. But to me, it's like he is saying, this is what the potential is for this player.
So say he's potential.
Yeah, but he's just getting carried away.
No, he said, I promise you he will become the next Neto, which I don't even think Neto is necessarily a world-class player anyway, but
it's
with
still
5-star skills.
That's still just an opinion. Right?
No,
you don't think he's honestly like got it like
an opinion is
he's not actually saying
no.
I guarantee I hereby declare.
I promise you. That's what he said. You're literally ignoring the words that he wrote on the page. He put I promise you as we were talking about it. He was doubling down on his promise, which I love you, Dietrich, by the way. I'm not digging you out as a person.
Right, but like if you took everything that someone said like that seriously and just scrolled Twitter and Googled Bryan Heel and Tottenham.
So why do I have to be okay with it?
You can just pick fights with people like this all day if you want. It's a waste of time.
I don't even look on Twitter. Look, dude, I don't even look at my Twitter feed, okay? The only thing I do on Twitter is I post my stuff. If somebody comments on my stuff and I get a notification, I'll reply back, and I do the little Spurs family chat. And it's the people in there who are supposed to be my community members who I'm thank you, buddy. Who I am conflicting here with on this. This isn't just your random, Johnny Be Good on Twitter who I'm getting these poofs with, right? You see my Twitter page. I don't post 12 posts a day on Twitter and getting into random boo-haws with people on Twitter. That's not what I do.
So are we, would you like to hear what I have to say about Bryan Hill?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Continue.
He's 20 years old. He's shown quite a bit of promise. Paratici has a scouting background. I trust in him to shop in this demographic more than I would Daniel Levy or Steve Hitchen.
Okay. It
doesn't address an immediate need. That doesn't necessarily make it bad business. Right? Personally, I don't see us addressing every issue. The squad is riddled with issues. It's riddled with issues. But that shouldn't prevent us from taking an opportunistic approach to acquiring a 20-year-old who is, I mean, if you've read what the Sevilla fans, how they're reacting on Twitter, if you've read that Barcelona and Real Madrid fans who have been sniffing around this kid for years are upset that they've let him go. Thing is, generally speaking, La Liga is broke, right? That's probably why we were able to get this deal over the line. And that's only half of the deal as well. We've taken Eric Lamela, who had 1 year left on his contract, and shipped him and his $80K a week out to Spain. I mean, I think it's a win-win. We'll have to see how the rest of the window goes to judge the window as a whole. But I don't buy into the idea that we should be addressing business in order of urgency. We shouldn't be looking at at doing no business while we sit and wait for us to get a world-class center back in. There's just too many holes to plug at this point. There's too many holes to plug in a single window, and there's too many holes to plug to not be taking advantage of opportunities like this. It doesn't mean that it will work out. It guarantees nothing. I share the same reservations you do about his level of physicality and
we have Ben in
the challenges that he'll face.
Ben.
The challenges that he will face adapting to the Premier League.
Yeah.
You make valid points. You've probably done more research than I have into the kid. I get what you're saying about his left-footedness, but I don't look at a 20-year-old player.
Not left-footedness.
I'm not going to I'm not going to look at a 20-year-old player and try and define him as a finished product. I'm not going to take a 20-year-old player and compare him to men like Tanguy and Ndombele, right? This is a raw, talented individual. We don't exactly have a great track record of fostering talents like this. I'm hoping that that's something that's going to change. But I'm not looking at 2021-22 as being the opening of a competitive window for Tottenham Hotspur. So in terms of making a move for the future, I applaud it. It excites me.
Yeah.
I certainly wish that we could take and address everything in one fell swoop. There's just so many moving parts, right? There's so many moving parts. I just don't see us being in a position to challenge for top 4 this season, personally. So I've ratcheted back my personal expectations.
And I'll give you my rebuttal shortly after I reenact Miss Gogama's super chat. So Gogama put in a 3001 super chat, which is a little squirrel guy who's going, yeah, yeah, yeah. She says, Oramane. She said, it's been a long time since we've seen Will and Cody Mack together. It's been like a week. But maybe I don't think she was live on the show last time. So, and then she says, she said, it's good to see us together on the screen. So, thank you for that compliment.
Appreciate that.
So now for my rebuttal on your comment. I don't disagree with you. I have no problem being opportunistic. Okay? Going out and grabbing good players for the future, right? It's obvious Lloris is going to probably be leaving in a year, right? And she said my reaction was very funny. Thank you. You're welcome. That's what I do for super stickers. So if people want to throw in a super sticker, I will act every single one of them out. That's how we roll over here on THFCRants. But back to my point. I'm all good with that. I'm not okay with doing that instead of if those opportunities get in the way of plugging the gushing holes in the dam. Right? I don't mind adding stones to the top of the dam as long as we are plugging the gushing holes in the side of the dam. Does that make sense? I'm cool with opportunistic signings as long as, and like I've said, my expectation for this window, 2 center backs and a right winger. That's it. Midfielders, we get one, great. But if we get a midfielder, a center mid, instead of a right winger, I'm mad. If we sign a goalkeeper and some guy who's potentially the next Messi, great. But if we don't get 2 center backs, we're screwed. Right? The season's done. You have to understand, we finished 7th last season with the squad that we have. Right? People can blame that on Jose Mourinho all that they want, but the squad had a huge role to play in that. The defense alone, if you would have taken out just the defensive errors alone, right? Individual errors, we finished 2nd last season. We finished 2nd. Right? I want people to hear that. Individual mistakes, we finished 2nd. If those go away, right? It cost us goals in the last 15 to 20 minutes of a game that lost us the match and or caused us to draw. Right? We need defense. Our best defender all season, last season, just left. He's gone. Now our best defender, the best defender at Tottenham Hotspur, this isn't my opinion, I would call Rodin, but people would argue with me, is Dyer and Sanchez. That's our best center back pairing right now. For Joe Rodin at 23 years old. Right? He's our best center back at the club now. So unless you think that Joe Rodin, if we don't sign any center backs, if you think that Joe Rodin and Japhet Tanganga are going to hold us through for the entire season and not get our asses below 10th or 15th or crying out loud even relegated, I got to disagree with you, man. This is a crossroads window. This isn't a normal window where we can fiddle-faddle around. We have to sign 2 center backs this season. We have to.
Yeah.
And then from the attacking side of it, right? We have to sign a right winger. We have to. 13 attacking returns, 11 goals, 2 assists. Went out the window. Why are you blocking my comments? I'm not blocking your comments. Who's blocking your comments? Were you cussing or something? It blocks you yourself if you use foul language. Mills and Wall 7. Is Mills and Wall 7? Is somebody blocking Mills and Wall 7? One of the moderators? Is he being a bad boy, or is he just disagreeing with me? If he just disagrees with me, that's fine. If he's being a bad boy, then we can block his comments. I haven't blocked any of your comments. But right, midfielders, that's Kane. It's a bonus, right? We don't need them like we need the other positions.
Yeah. No, I don't deny what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, okay, so what are your expectations going into this season? What are your? I mean, everybody. Let's say it goes without saying that winning the Premier League would be what everybody wants to do this season. But realistically, what do you think that we are capable of doing? And when you're thinking about
what are we capable of doing?
What do you think that we are capable of doing in terms of business that will lead us to what position in the Premier League, right? There's so much going on right now that we don't understand or know about. We don't really know what the financial situation is at Spurs. We don't really know what's going on.
I'm not concerned about that, right? Like even today, like even Plan B. If we get Romero in, that's great. I think he's great, right? I'm talking probably right now, or based on form, top 10 center backs in the world right now. Okay, if we get Romero in, that's a great signing. Okay, him in and on himself is not enough. Okay, we need another. Right, I would be happy with the Plan B that was listed out on Twitter. Where we go, obviously we're not getting Zuma, but say we go out and get Botman, Tomiyasu, and Milikovic, or I'd be happy with that, right? So we're talking $20 million defenders here, 20 million pound defenders here, right? So I'm cool with that. But we have to have a right winger. We have to have new center backs. Right. This is something that must happen. There's still time for it to happen. And I'm like I said, I don't care if it happens on the last day of the window at midnight. I don't care.
I don't think anybody's going to sit here and disagree with any of that, really.
Why am I getting hung up to dry? Simply because I'm not excited about a number 2 keeper and a squad player. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's hold our enthusiasm. My thing to what was going on in the Spurs family chat was people are like, Fabio Paratici, he's magic, I mean, like literally worshiping this guy. You posted the pictures yourself with Ben Gill with his head on the body of Jesus standing on the top of the hill in Argentina.
Right. But that was the whole tweet was, right? Brian Hill last week was the buddy from the Big Bang Theory, and this week he is the Christ the Redeemer statue. Right. That's all. That's like
you've seen other that is me agreeing with you. I know it's you agreeing with me, but I'm saying the reason why that meme even exists, did you Photoshop that yourself? You did? Good job.
I did.
But the reason why this is bothering me the way that it is because there are respectable, intelligent people who I respect in our community who have the blinders have gone, right? It's okay with saying, look, great player. He's got to get, like, I think Brian Hill, he's a good player. Potential high. I hope he becomes better than any player we currently have. Why would I not? I'm a Spurs fan. I want things to go well. I'm just saying, let's just, yeah, that's the picture that we're talking about there. That's a good one. How did you get the hair all flared out like that and everything? Or is that just a picture that was out there? Yeah. You're muted, by the way. But yeah, man, this is that's all I'm just saying, hey, let's just slow our roll and make sure that the gushing holes in the dam are filled before we start singing the praises of a man who's been here for a month. Because listen, Partici, if he only signs these two players for the whole window, is he a great director of football?
You will
Hold
always
on. Answer the question. If these are the only two signings we make all summer, is he a good director of football?
I don't think that even if we sign all of the targets that you're talking about, that it makes him a great director of football, right?
Sure it does.
What makes him a great director of football if we sign all those players you want and none of them work out, right? He's only ever in my mind, he's only ever going to be judged by the end product.
Oh,
we're only going to be able
no.
To me, you cannot say that he is a good, like an excellent director of football, a successful director of football, if he does not improve Tottenham Hotspur's league position, if he doesn't bring us a trophy during his tenure. He's always going to be judged on the result, just like players are.
He's not a
just
coach.
Like players are.
He's not a coach. He's not a manager.
He's an architect. It's his job to work with those people.
Exactly. The architect says, where are the weak spots in the building? Let's reinforce those weak spots. That's his job, in my opinion. That's the only thing I expect.
But
it is clearly obvious to anyone with half a brain in football that our biggest needs are center backs and a right winger.
Do you really think that we're going to finish this transfer window without acquiring a center back?
This is Tottenham Hotspur, my friend. Where you been the last 12 years? Or 20? I haven't been a fan for 20 years, so I can't say 20.
Let's say, okay, so what do you think the odds are that we sign one center back, percentage chance?
Yes, he is Will regardless.
A good director of football.
He's a good director of football if he doesn't sign the positions that we need.
Mike is basically saying he is a proven as a good director of football from his history at Juventus.
I don't care what you're. He doesn't have any clout with us yet.
So back to my question.
I can judge him on one transfer window.
What do you think, percentage-wise, the chances are that we sign at least one center back?
50-50.
I think it's higher. The odds are much higher that we sign at least one center back. I'm not saying that we will get our top target, but for me, even for Tottenham Hotspur, there's no way that we're going to let Toby Alderweireld go for 5 million euros. And we're not going to replace with a center back of some
it has to be
kind.
replaced. It has to be replaced of his level. The player who comes in and replaces Toby must be, if you're letting the best center back on our squad go, the person coming in must therefore be the best center back in our club. He doesn't have to be the best center back in the world, but he has to be better than everyone else who's there. Otherwise, we've gone backwards, not forwards.
And,
I agree with that. One is not enough.
It doesn't change my thought that we will get at least a center back.
I'm sure we could go to League Two and go sign somebody who costs $100,000.
No, I think we'll get a center back. I think we'll get a center back who walks into our starting 11. That's how I'll say it.
And then, so we break even. So we finish 7th or 8th again next season.
Yeah, I've already, like I said, the way that I'm looking at this transfer window is I have taken my expectations for Tottenham Hotspur, and it's no longer top 4. That's not my expectation for this upcoming season. Not unless there is like a miracle in the next 5 weeks in this transfer window.
Why?
That's just the state of the squad. That's just the state that we're in. I just don't think that. I think that there are so many problems that need addressed.
You've accepted the mediocrity then?
I'm being realistic.
No, you've accepted the mediocrity.
I'm not accepting anything.
Yeah, you just
But
said
I'm not
you're
going to.
fine
I'm
with
not
it.
going
Your
to go into
expectation
next
is
season.
now.
There's no reason right now, looking at our squad, there is no fucking reason to expect this squad to be a top 4 squad.
Of course, that's why we need to sign players. That's my whole point.
I can't control that.
No, that's what I'm saying. You
I
can't.
expect us to sign players. But if
But
you're
why
asking
is everyone
me right
singing?
now,
My point is no.
today, what my expectation is, which is we cannot operate under the assumption that this squad will be improved upon in the next 5 weeks. If you ask me today, knowing what we know about the squad that we have, I am not expecting a top 4 challenge.
Of course not. Of course not. My point is, why are we praising a man who, if today the transfer window were to slam shut, would be one of the worst transfer windows since the years that we signed no one?
I don't know about that. I mean, it would be one of the quietest ones, but
Not quite as
it
worst.
it depends how you look at our transfer windows, right? Obviously, the transfer windows where we signed nobody were terrible.
Sure.
But if you went back and looked at some of the signings that we have made, they haven't exactly worked out. It's pretty low bar.
Here's a question.
I think I wouldn't say that would be the expectation. I would say we could challenge for top 4, not that we should finish in top 4 if we brought in those 2 center backs. You got to remember, like, if you're talking about top 4, okay, you've got Man City, who don't need to buy anybody and haven't yet, who might buy Harry Kane, we don't know. You've got Manchester United, who've just bought Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane. You've got Chelsea, who spent $226 million on their squad last summer and are looking at bringing in Erling Haaland. They're looking at bringing in, who are they been connected with? Jules Koundé today. A squad that doesn't need improvement, that has a new coach in Thomas Tuchel, who just brought them Champions League glory. You've got Liverpool, who are going to have a healthy Virgil van Dijk, and they've signed Konate, and probably aren't done in terms of the business that they do. They are an aging squad, but I'd say they're still top 4 caliber. And you've got Leicester City, who have finished above us consecutive years and have also made investments in this transfer window. Top 4 is going to be very difficult. I don't think that 2 center backs are going to make us a top 4 team. Maybe we would be in the fight, but I don't see it as a guarantee, as a shoe-in. There's 5 teams right there that are still, even if we improve our center back situation, are still above us in terms of expectations.
Okay.
What I think, you're totally right. Obviously, we need all of those things. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think that we're going to address every issue, right? I don't see us.
I'm not asking us to address every issue. We have lots of issues. There are about 6 or 7 issues. There are 3 that must be done this window.
2 center backs and a right wing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 3
That's
players. Fair. That's all I'm asking for. Let's put it in this way. Aston Villa, right? They've signed Bonita from Norwich.
Buendia,
right? Ashley Young at left back. He's Ashley Young. Samata and Gilbert have come back from loan. Right? They are they've already spent £50 million, and they're also in for a $35 million or £35 million bid for Leon Bailey. So Aston Villa, who's finished what last season? 12th? 11th? They can go in and spend £85 million in the transfer window, but Tottenham Hotspur can't.
I totally agree. I want all that. I want it all, but I'm not going to expect it. I'm not going to build myself up to think that we're about to.
No. It's not about building. No. You're confusing. It's an expectation that isn't about hyping myself up.
Right.
It's expectation saying, if we are Tottenham Hotspur, top 10 revenuing clubs in the entire world, why are we not doing at least this business here?
Right. So we're in agreement. We're in agreement on what we would demand of the club. Right. But in terms of what I think the club will do, I'm
right. Like I said, you've accepted the mediocrity.
I'm not accepting
we
anything.
Agree. No, we agreed. We agree on what the club should do.
We both know exactly. Yeah.
You've resigned to the fact that we won't, which means you've accepted the mediocrity. It doesn't bother you anymore, is what you're saying. It bothers me.
Well,
Leon Bailey, it's not like I'm not asking us to go out and sign Ronaldo and Messi, right? I'm not being unreasonable here. Leon Bailey's a $35 million transfer, or £35 million transfer, right? Milinkovic.
It's not so much that I've accepted the mediocrity, it's that I've lost belief in my club's ability to do proper business. I'm not sitting here saying, well, I guess Tottenham Hotspur are just going to be shit forever now, and that's
Arsenal
okay.
Finished below us, and they've already spent $100 million. Yeah, they haven't really bought anybody that great yet, but still, they've spent $100 million. Right. I don't care why. I know the reason is. Like, I'm not dumb to know. I know what the reason is. And this is like, okay, look, forgive me if me saying I'm not dumb, if that means that I'm insinuating you're calling me dumb. It's my way. Instead of saying thank you, Captain Obvious, and putting the onus on you, I just tend to turn it on myself. I did that early in the chat, and Matt got mad at me. Right? Because people are assuming that I don't know what I'm talking about. Right? Like, I know the reason why if we don't. But that's what I'm saying. Why are people out there celebrating in the streets? Right? Why are people out there celebrating in the streets for Paratici and the two players that we've signed when it has helped our squad climb up the table 0 spots? That's all I'm asking. It's not about being positive or negative. I am simply saying.
And I think that you are dealing with the natural spectrum of a fan base. That regardless of the decision or the transfer that you can take, there's always going to be a sliver of people who are unnecessarily celebrating, dancing in this. Like, honestly, you're always going to get a certain number of people that when we win on week 1 are going to say we're going to win the Premier League. That's
but that's ridiculous, though.
It is.
It doesn't mean I have to accept it. It doesn't mean I have to accept it. Just because someone else is irrational doesn't mean I have to accept it.
So what does not accepting it look like? What are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to just shame people
game
into
1. No,
you're just trying to shame people and bring them all into like the same box as everybody else.
No, it's saying, hey fella, it's
you live in America, man. You live in America. It's the land of the free. People are free to be unreasonable in their expectations. I don't have a problem with it. It's natural.
They're free to, but I'm also free to say, hey dude, you're being irrational.
Right, but that irrational person isn't looking at you and saying, you need to think like me.
I didn't tell them they needed, look, being irrational. So if I think that the sky is purple or pink, or that I think that I'm a purple dinosaur.
Well, the world is flat.
Am I supposed to let that person, yeah, that's your truth. You could be a purple dinosaur if you want to be. No. You're not a purple dinosaur. You're not.
But you're not the thought police.
It doesn't matter. I don't have to call that person a purple dinosaur just because they think they're a purple dinosaur. I don't have to.
Okay.
So why do I have to entertain the person who says we're going to win the league after winning the first match? I don't. Don't have to entertain them.
To what end?
To me saying, bro, you're off your rocker.
But if if that's the headspace you would like to exist in, then you could walk through life having problems with everyone you run into that way. It's fruitless.
For irrational people, yeah. Not rational people.
It's a spectrum. Deal with it.
I am dealing with it. I'm part of that spectrum.
Are
Deal
you
with
dealing
it,
with
Cody.
it, though?
I am.
Are you?
I am. Have I ever called anybody names? Have I ever called anyone names?
I'd have to rewatch your cameo on the Irish Hotspur yesterday to see if there was any insults dropped.
Yeah. Watch it. The ideas.
Do you think you can change these
I call
people?
it delusional. I don't care about changing them, Cody. I don't know why you're so stuck on this changing people's minds thing. I am not an evangelist. I could care less about changing people's minds.
I want to know what you think you're accomplishing.
I'm accomplishing.
You're making yourself feel better.
Yeah. And yeah. 100%. Why else am I doing what I'm doing?
It's totally okay for you to do that. But
I'm making myself feel better, and I'm shedding light on irrationality. Why? Because it can help. Being rational can improve mental health.
What rational person would support Tottenham Hotspur?
Me.
Really? Is supporting Tottenham Hotspur a rational concept?
Sure it is.
Why?
I'm a Tottenham Hotspur supporter.
Yeah.
Because of the reasons that I'm a Tottenham Hotspur, and those reasons are rational to me. I'm not a Tottenham Hotspur supporter because I expect them to win the league. I want them to win the league. That's not my expectation. Right? What is irrational about supporting Tottenham Hotspur?
What is rational about what's rational about it?
The fact that I like the team, and so therefore I support them. That's rational. I want to be a supporter of Tottenham Hotspur. That's rational. They are a club that exists. Now, if I was a supporter, it would be irrational for me to be a supporter of Tottenham Dinglebonger. It is a team that only exists in my own imagination.
So if it's rational for you to support, if it's rational for you to support a team that you don't expect to win any trophies,
at their current state, I expect the team to move in that direction, and I will hold them accountable to that made, but I don't expect them to win the league today. That would be irrational. Expecting them to win the league right now, based on who we have, the players that we have, would be irrational. That is irrational. It's not based in reality. Right?
There is a certain amount of fandom that is always going to be based on irrationality.
And then I'll call them irrational. What is wrong with me calling them irrational? I don't understand why that's wrong. If they can be based in the clouds, why can't I bring them back down the earth? That's how humans balance each other out.
Then there's nothing wrong with someone calling you that, right?
Calling me what?
A downer or any other.
I'm not being negative. Right? Did I say Bryan Gill was dog shit?
You said you were unexcited, right? Yeah. I'm just saying you're fighting a fruitless war, my friend. You're wasting your time.
Why are people fighting with me? I am just saying what I said. People start attacking me. I just stated.
This is devolving into like a finger pointing thing, right? So you see somebody who's saying irrationally, somebody who probably knows they're being irrational, that Bryan Gil will be the next Messi, or Bryan Gil is whatever you want to, however you want to define it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you can't just let them carry on with their,
So I just have to continue to let them go and be irrational.
This is like,
that's like saying my son thinks he's a purple dinosaur, so I just have to let him think he's a purple dinosaur.
Well, it's not quite like saying that, is it?
Why?
Okay, well, that's like saying
not based
that's
in
like
reality.
saying okay, somebody let's say your son thinks he's going to be a professional footballer.
Okay. Is that possible?
Is it possible for Bryan Gil to be the next Messi?
Yes.
Okay.
It is possible. Okay. Now, if my son, all he does is sit on his butt and play computer games all day, never goes out and trains or never does anything, and he thinks he's going to be a professional soccer player, is that irrational? Yes. because there is no evidence. He's not just going to one day happen to be a professional footballer. But if he goes out, trains, works hard, climbs up the ladder, has the talent and the ability and the work ethic to do that, then is it rational? Yes. The same dream, the hope, one can be irrational and rational at the same time, depending on the evidence that is available to make that judgment. Is it rational now to say that Bryan Gill will be the next Lionel Messi? No, it is not rational.
Is it rational to think that that person is being serious?
Yes, they're being serious. You just saw, I promise you, you're the one that's not taking people for their word. You're assuming that they're, he's just some idiot. So I'll just blow him off.
And you know what? I'm happily just letting those people sail by, right?
That's you. But why are you trying? Let me be me, dude. Let me be myself.
So it's okay for me. So I'm supposed to let you be you, but you can't let other people be themselves?
I never said they couldn't say that. Did I ever say that anybody who's made any of those claims is not allowed to make those claims?
What are you saying by calling them irrational?
That they're irrational? That their opinion is irrational. That's
what I'm saying. So this comes back to my question about what the end game is. Is that person supposed to just say, you know what?
Why does there have to be
you're correct. I am being irrational. I'm going to change what I think. Why does there have to be an end game?
If they disagree with me?
There should be an end game to most of what you do in life, should there not?
No. Why? What's the end game in me having a conversation in a group chat? There's no end game.
Okay.
There's no end game. Do I need to try to take over the world every time that I wake up in the morning? No, I don't. I'm having a group chat. I'm talking about football with my mates. There's no end game. Right? There's not. There's no end game. If I'm calling out a clown for being a clown, there's no end game. It's funny. Right? To go to a different topic. Whatever I'm doing it because there's no specific end game. I'm not trying. Me getting on my YouTube channel and talking about even what we're talking about today, it's not going to change anything on how Power Teacher reacts. God, if it does, I have way too much power of my 1,300 subscribers to make Power Teacher sign players that he should or shouldn't sign. No, I'm simply doing this, one, for my own mental health, right? I am an ENTP, Mr. DP, ranting about stuff, getting stuff off my chest makes me feel better. Okay? If there are people in the world who find that entertaining, bonus. Right? What is my end game for having my YouTube channel? To change the world.
Here's
one person at a time.
Here's my primary issue with that final statement. And we could probably move on after. Well, I don't. You probably want to have the last word being ENDP or whatever.
I don't need the last word.
I mean, if you're calling someone irrational to make yourself feel better.
No, that's not why I call them irrational.
Right, but you just said that you want to make yourself feel better by having these type of engagements. My point is, I don't really see it as being a necessary.
No, the reason why I'm calling them irrational is not to make myself feel better. It's not like I'm calling rational people irrational just to make myself feel better. That's not what I'm saying. Okay?
Well, it kind of was.
No, it's not. That's a twist. That's a straw man that you're throwing out there.
Well, the question was what the end game was, and you said I want to feel better.
So you're asking me why am I even engaging in these things in the first place?
You see something like that.
Yeah.
And according to the definition of your personality, it is not within it's like you can't say no to going after it with these people, right? You can't let that slide.
Yeah, arguing is entertaining to me. Like, this debate is really fun to me, and it may not be but I guarantee you there are people with personality types in the chat who this is absolutely pissing off. They don't like argumentation, confrontation, debate. I love it. I feed on it.
I like it too. I love it too. But for me, the conversation has to have the opportunity to bear fruit. And when you're talking about the splinter cell of Tottenham fans that are being...
You must be like an INTP, like you're the empathetic person.
Probably.
I don't have the empathy.
Yeah. So when you're talking about a splinter cell of Spurs fans who, regardless what you try and say to them, will never change the way that they think. When I want there to be an end game, I want there to be fruit to the debate. I want the conflict.
You want everybody to be buddies.
I want
the
conflict.
End. Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be buddies. It doesn't have to be buddies. But when there's a debate, because basically, like what I see is, if there's a debate on the horizon and I can't see, like, there's certain debates that are worth having and then coming to the agreement to disagree. Absolutely. But not this one. Not for me. Not the people who are, like, when someone says something that is clearly irrational, exaggerated, over the top, ridiculous, unprovable. It's one of those, like, okay, I just watched that ship sail by, and I feel better. I feel better having not wasted my time. That's just how I look at it. Just different ways.
Right, because to you, the time is a waste. To me, the time, that is one of the most entertaining hours of my day. See, that's the difference. That's entertaining for me. It's fun. I enjoy it. So you asked me so that's what I mean by it makes myself feel better. I enjoy debating with people. Right? Me calling them irrational doesn't make myself feel better.
Right.
It's the engagement, the steel sharpening steel. Right?
And yeah, it's just, we have different thresholds.
Yeah, we value different things. That's why
we value it.
People.
Like when I get somebody who says something, when I post something on Twitter and somebody comes at me with something like ridiculous, right there, I just know not to go down the foxhole with that person. It's like, okay, this doesn't end anywhere. It's like
I agree with you.
It's like,
we both see.
I know
the foxhole.
Brian Daigle is in the chat. I think at least he was earlier.
Let me do this super sticker real quick so we can move on for what's in here. But it's a pear, and he's got a coffee cup doing
this. So Brian Daigle yesterday during the Irish Hotspurs stream, there was somebody badgering him in the comments. It's just how people look at things differently. When I see something like that, it's just like, okay, I don't want to validate that person by responding to them. That's how I look at it. All that person is looking for by making an over-the-top negative comment towards somebody, they're looking for that attention. So if I bestow that attention upon them, I've now validated their comment. I've now invited them to continue with that behavior, right? That's how I look at it.
Sure, that's
whereas
how you view it.
If that person, for me, if you ignore that comment, it just goes away. It never. Overwhelming majority of the time, people do not persist when they're ignored like that. To me, like, it's the difference between, like, there is a time to rise to the occasion and fight the good fight, and there are times where you want to avoid descending onto someone's level.
I don't ever go to their level. Entering into a debate with someone doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to their level.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you do.
Yeah,
I'm not
saying you do. If I start ad hominem and name calling them, then that would be going to their level, right?
Yeah,
I don't ever do that.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking.
But me, you see that foxhole and you're like, the briar patch. Me, I see that foxhole. I'm like, yes, a foxhole. Get in there, jump in there head first.
This is for the people in the comments.
have a drink. Yeah, that's the two different types of personalities. That's why we have two different personalities. And that's okay. I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. I'm never not okay with people disagreeing with me. If you think that Bryan Gill's the next Messi, go float your boat, mate. That's fine. You're irrational.
The only time I think Bryan Gill is the next Messi is when I'm winding you up. But you know that.
You know, wind me up.
I know.
Right? You think your comments wind me up. They don't wind me up. They really don't.
I don't really think that. I wouldn't want to just
No.
wind you up for no reason. You know that.
The people who actually believe, it's the actual belief in that winds me up. And it's not, if they had good reasons, if they said, if you notice, if someone came to me and said, right, without just blanket statements or generalizations, well, this guy says he's going to be. Because the reason why I don't think Gil is the next Messi is because his statistics coming up in his career from the time that he was 17 to 20 don't show that he's not even as good as Son Heung-min from his time at 17 to 20. Okay? So that's the reason why I don't believe that. If someone could say, here's why Gil will be this, then I would change my mind. I would change my mind. But if people are just saying, well, because this guy said he would. Well, what did that guy base it on? His eyes? Why is I don't care if it's Fabio Paratici or Lionel Messi himself. Why is his opinion more valid than mine if it's not based in objective reality? If it's based in objectiveness, if you're an expert, it's because you base your claims on rational decisions, evidence-based decision making. That's what makes you an expert, not being famous. Right? Like, is Brad Pitt an expert on climate change? No. Why does anybody listen to Brad Pitt on climate change? It's ridiculous. Right? You listen to a doctor or a scientist who has evidence, data. Not Brad Pitt. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. I don't appeal to authorities unless that opinion of that authority is based on rational evidence. That's all I'm saying.
I guess it just depends what you want to accept as evidence, right? And what lens you want to look at it through.
But that's where the debate starts. Then we can debate the evidence.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. For me, if you're comparing this guy with 20-year-olds across Europe's top 5 leagues, he threshes out pretty well. He seems, for a player who played under 2,300 minutes in La Liga last year, his statistics for dribbling, crosses, duels, possession won in the final third, all very promising, especially for a kid who is weighing in at 67 kilograms, which is, I think, or he's 69 kilos. He's like 20 pounds heavier than Pedro Neto. But no, I'm not going, the thing is, the only way that we're going to end up measuring Bryan Gil is at the end of the day when his Tottenham career is coming to a close, whether or not it was a successful transfer or not. That's the only way to go about it. You can't take someone seriously who says he's the next Messi. You can't take someone seriously who says he's absolute dog shit. We just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's all I've said. But I'm getting hammered for that opinion. So just say, hey, I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, but there's people who will hammer you if you say that Moussa Sissoko isn't a good footballer, right?
But doesn't mean I have to accept it. I don't have to accept other people's hammering me of my rational stuff.
But not giving them the time of day isn't necessarily accepting it.
Not giving them time. Yeah, it is.
No, you're not accepting it by not responding to someone.
Sure. If someone's being a racist and you don't respond to it, you're accepting it. If we're standing there and then some guy's calling another, person of color the N-word in public,
it's a different topic altogether. It is.
Not. Why is it different?
So if someone comes up to you and says Bryan Gil is going to be the next Messi, it's the same as if they come up to you and said you are a neo-Nazi.
Both are irrational.
Right, but different categories, right? One has One has moral implications. Absolutely.
They're both irrational statements, though. Yes, the one that has moral implications is more serious, but it's still the reason why you speak up against ones with moral implications is because it's irrational. The root of it is rationality, right? There is no rational position in which anyone, based on the color of their skin, is any different than anyone else. That thought is irrational. That's what makes it.
I'm not going to put
immoral.
those things. I'm not putting those two things in the same box.
This is the difference. I look at the roots of things rather than the outside, the moral implication. For me, the way my brain works is black and white, right? It's either irrational or it's not irrational.
Yeah, see, there's always tons of gray. Always.
I don't do gray.
Yeah.
That's not the way my brain works.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's why we make for good TV, though.
So, in conclusion, Bryan Gil is the next Messi. Taught Messi everything he knows, really.
Absolutely.
And Fabio Paratici, greatest scout in the history of football.
And apparently there's some guy in the chat who's being a doofusness. Like this. Irrational. You, sir, are irrational. You, sir, have been blocked. See? We weren't even talking about that, and someone has to go and bring it up. That's what I'm saying, Cody. These are irrational people that need to be rooted out, a light shown on them.
Yes, but I'm not going to put football opinions in the same category.
I don't put it the same impactiveness
as racism, xenophobia, bigotry, sexism, homophobia.
But football opinions can lead to violence.
Oh yeah, any opinions can.
Exactly. So irrationality needs to be stomped out. Not stomped out.
Not always.
No, but like I said, I go differently. I don't put as much effort into or, to non-important irrational decisions than I do to important ones. Right. There's a difference, right?
See, this perfectly. This is like, that's like the majority of people that I've seen. Right?
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean,
There's nothing wrong with that.
He's using
exciting prospect.
That word, exciting.
Well, I'm not the exciting part. I'm not excited, right? But I agree that he could be an exciting young prospect. I'm not excited by him. Do I think he's a young prospect? Yes. Right? Is he one for the future? Hopefully. Right? Should expectations be tempered? 1,000%.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. I'm not giving equal weight to the two situations, but the root is the same. Irrationality.
We probably signed someone during that conversation.
I don't take it personally. That's the difference too. I don't get upset. A lot of other people do get upset. I don't. It's you have to do something really bad to actually make me angry. You might get me to react passionately, but to literally make me mad, the only thing that usually starts to make me mad is when people start assuming things about me that I didn't say. Like getting mad at me for things that I never said. That makes me mad.
Putting words in your mouth?
Yeah, straw manning. That makes me mad. But even then, I tend to keep my cool.
Do you think Bryan Gil is a waste of money?
No. I wouldn't say he's a waste of money. Could he be a waste of money? Sure. If he ends up to be like some of the other signings that we've made in that position, sure.
Bob Spur put me up to this.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. I have to reshare this because I didn't click the little thing about sound. Bear with me 1 second.
simply for the fact is that he statistically, but for me, it seems like a waste of cash. We basically spend around 35 million pounds. 35. What's the context and why it's a waste of cash? What's the context?
No context. No context.
What's the context on why it's a waste of cash?
So you wanted me to keep playing or go back further?
Both. Can't clip something out of context and then say and try to get me in a gotcha.
Okay. Okay, we'll go back 45 seconds. See if there's any further context.
In the YouTube world, just off and on for the last couple of weeks. But I don't necessarily one of the ones because I haven't heard you say that Gil's going to be the next Lionel Messi, that he's going to come in here rolling and he's going to. Yeah, right. But there are people that are saying that, and you know who you are. I'm looking at the camera. You know who you are. You're watching this. It's driving me nuts, right? It's driving me nuts because simply for the fact is that he statistically, but for me, it seems like a waste of cash. We basically spend around 35 million pounds, 35 million euro on this when Aston Villa, who isn't in Europe at all, is going in and making moves for Leon Bailey, and he wants to go to the Premier League. He does not that he wants to go to Aston Villa, and we're going up with somebody. We're not going in for someone like Leon Bailey. It seems to me, Paratici, he's done some great stuff.
Right. So waste of cash when compared with the potential of going for a Leon Bailey.
Correct. Yes.
I did have to
waste of cash. A waste of cash on his own? No. A waste of cash when we could have gotten Leon Bailey if we don't get someone who in the right wing who is as good as Leon Bailey.
I'm going to be a bit more calm and collected for a change. I agree and disagree with Bill. I think the fact, mate, is it's a waste of money. We just don't know. We just don't know if it's going to be a waste of money or not. It's one of those wait and see. The issue for me is the fact. No.
Not a waste of money.
Not a waste of money on his own. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money in the same way that signing Jack Clark was a waste of money when we could have used that money to sign Jack Grealish. And Bryan Gollini and all this jazz, right? Driving me insane, right? Let's have a cool head. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not saying we wasted money on signing him. That's not my point.
No, you didn't say that. No.
Not my point. It's not what I said.
I know.
So then why are you even playing the video? That's disingenuous. It's not stirring the pot. That's lying.
It was always I had it earmarked where you said it's not a waste of money. Don't worry. I was just winding you up a little bit.
Yeah, but that's out of context. That is lying.
That's Bob Spur put me up to that.
Well, Bob can piss off.
Piss off, Bobby.
But no, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Right? Is Jack Clark on himself a waste of money? Well, now probably yes. Although that's probably going to give me a lifetime ban from Matt Hayes' channel. That's what he said. If I said anything bad about Jack Clark, I would get a lifetime ban. I hope he wasn't being serious. But it's a waste of money in the sense that we could have used that cash to sign Leon Bailey. Right? Is buying a Prius and a Ford Fiesta, is that a waste of money if that's the only car that you have? No. Is it a waste of money if you could have taken the price of both of those cars and bought a Ford Explorer? Yes. See what I mean? That's how I classify that.
We're just going to have to see what happens the rest of the way.
I agree. I'm cool with that. Like I said, I'm not one who's like, there are some people who agree with me who are like, got to be done now. Got to get embedded in and do all stuff. Look, that's great. That's a positive. I don't think it's a necessity. Right? I just want the player signed. Right? If it takes him 2 weeks, if it takes him 2 months to get embedded in, I don't care. It just needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, Our season is fucked.
I kind of think that we're barring a miraculous finish to this transfer window. I've kind of thought that for a while now.
All I'm asking for is 3 players. Less than 80 million. That's it. That's it. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation. He could flop. Anybody can flop. I doubt it.
Just give me 1 sec.
Sure. Derek, you're right. Leon Bailey could flop. He very well could flop. Harry Kane could flop this season. The evidence doesn't show that he would. That's correct. So could Gil. Is your daughter awake or are you good to go? Okay. Can I watch Bryan Gill play against U23s? Yeah, I have actually watched several of his matches. He's good, but I'm sorry, I am not excited about it. I'd love to throw one of his compilation videos up here and do like a reaction to it, just to kind of show you why I'm not excited. Right? I look at players in different ways. I look at their creativity, their IQ, their overall, skill set. Right? A couple flashy dribbles here and there, or 1 or 2 good stats doesn't get me excited about the player as a whole. Right? If your defensive ability is a 2 and your dribbling ability is a 94, what am I supposed to take from that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Kev Williams says, "Well, how do you feel about Lamella's Spurs accent?" It was the right time for him to go. But like, I didn't hate Lamella. I just hate what he did. Oh, I hate that word. That triggers me. It triggers me for more than one reason. Not just related to Spurs content, Simon, but and welcome back, by the way, Brad. Long time no see. That's what people tell me when my kid is being mistreated. Just trust the process. No, not going to happen. I don't trust processes. I reorganize processes. The goalkeeper for me. Goalkeeper. He doesn't excite me either. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his presence. I don't like,
What don't you like about his? Sorry, can you go into more detail about his attitude?
Yeah, his attitude, his arrogant. I'm not a fan of arrogance. That's not based in, like if you're Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Ronaldo or Messi, your arrogance is somewhat justified based on what? Your accomplishments, right? If I'm arrogant and I have and it's not justified arrogance, that to me is equally as irrational. I don't find you to be an intelligent person. Like, that guy what I'm talking about? He's not fit at all. He's overweight, kind of looks funny, but he walks around like he's God's gift to women. When you see a person like that, does it not throw you off? Because it's not based, it's not justified, and it's not based in reality. But if you've got 6-pack washboard abs and, a face that every woman wants, and you're being arrogant, there's a justification in that. It's still arrogant, but it's justified.
I think goalkeepers in most sports,
You got to make excuses for every single position.
they're just different, man. They're different ducks. They are. Look at Joe Hart. Right?
Joe Hart won the league. Right?
But which came first? Was he not arrogant before? I know what you're saying. He's a punk.
I don't know. Yeah. Hugo Release isn't arrogant. I don't necessarily associate arrogance with goalkeepers.
Hugo Lloris doesn't project arrogance. I'm not saying arrogance is. I'm just saying like goalkeepers are mentally. They're such a different breed. Yeah, Terry Wright saying the same thing.
So, have you ever tried bubbly?
I've got some pineapple bubbly in the fridge. Actually,
I don't even know what bubbly is.
It's sparkling water.
Yeah, I don't. I've never drank bubbly before.
It's no Fresca.
It's no Fresca.
Delicious.
And for being sugar-free, Fresca's pretty dang good, to be honest. If you really want to be fair.
That's all I was saying, man.
I like Fresca. It is a grandma drink, but it doesn't mean I don't like it.
You should try it with orange juice. Split a can with the wife.
There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Like I said, confidence is usually justified arrogance. Right? That's what it's not exactly the same, but justified arrogance is technically confidence, right? If you're Ronaldo and you've accomplished what you've accomplished, to say that you're going to go out and accomplish what you're going to accomplish in the future is arrogant, but it's also justified confidence, right? Or it's confidence, but it's also justified arrogance. If you've accomplished nothing and you walk around like you're the best athlete to ever grace the planet, for good example, Rabiot, right? I see that same type of arrogance in Gollini as I do in Rabiot. It's just what I see. He could be great. Could be great. I hope he does. I hope he takes the number 1 spot. Why would I not? Sure, arrogance is okay if you back it up. Arrogance, what's wrong with arrogance? Does arrogance harm other people?
What are your thoughts on Koundé on this topic? Do you find him arrogant?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
It's looking like he's going to Chelsea, eh?
Yeah, why? And that deal happened real quick. Link came out today, and it's almost done today. Why? Because the player wanted to go there.
Yep.
So why do we, if he doesn't want to come to Spurs, why do we want him?
Well, I mean, there's different ways of looking at it, right? One thing I read about.
What assumption did I make? You gotta be very careful with your words. I'm a smart fella.
Koundé, yeah, you got triple-digit IQ.
I do.
Koundé, you could say, like, man, you want your players to have aspirations for themselves. You want your players to have ambitions. You want your players to want Champions League football.
Sure.
If we ruled out every player that only wants to go to a club if they have Champions League football, we're going to be stuck with a pretty mediocre player pool.
Right. Okay, but you have to understand it's the rumors that were out about being what was said that weren't denied. Right? When rumors come out in the press, a person can come out and then deny them. For instance, if someone were to come out to me, if a report, say Bob goes on his channel and says, Will Stewart said that he's too good to go on David's channel, right? I would come out and deny that claim. If I don't deny that claim, what is that saying? That I agree with it. You're leaving that room space for people to make the decision whether it's, oh, that's just a rumor, Bob's just being Bob, or you're saying maybe Will really does think he's too good to go on the Irish Hotspur's channel.
Right.
If I wanted to be a responsible adult, I would come out and say, I respect the Irish Hotspur. I just simply don't have time right now. Or the time difference causes me to prefer to go on Matty Hayes' channel instead of the Irish Hotspurs. Right? If there's a reason why I'm rejecting to go to that channel, then I can just come out and say it, right? If I think if you would come out and say, I think Tottenham Hotspur is a great club, a lot of history, I would just prefer to play for a team next season that's in top 4. Boom, no problem. Not arrogant at all. It's not arrogance.
Right.
To say we're beneath his level, that's arrogant.
That is something that was written. Doesn't make it true. I know what you're saying about him not denying it. Exactly. But at the same time, if every player...
That's the only statement he's made.
If every player took something that was fabricated, let's assume for a second that was fabricated, right? Just for the sake of the argument. If every player refuted everything that was fabricated about them all the time, it would almost be like one of those, any publicity is good publicity, and you would see people fabricating things about players all the time because then they would trigger that type of response. Like I've seen it that's why it's like there's so few players will go on and refute rumors even if they're not true, right? Like I saw Virgil van Dijk posted on Twitter when there was rumors about the Netherlands coach, the players wanting to get rid of him, and the story was written and he quote tweeted it and said, this is hogwash, basically.
Okay.
Some players will do that, some players won't. I don't know for sure until like Koundé is actually
this is a problem. This is a problem
because there was no actual quote. Right?
I don't know if it was in
journal,
quotation, but somebody
some journal saying that
it was more than
Tottenham as a second.
He considers Tottenham a second tier club.
Do you consider Tottenham a second tier club?
No, I don't.
You think we're on the same level as Real Madrid?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. We're in the Europa Conference League. We are what we are.
This year, we've had 12 years of being in the top.
But even historically speaking, we've been very unsuccessful for the last 30 years.
Title-wise, not even close, right? Not even on the same level. Title.
So how can, it depends where you want to cut a tier off. Like the top tier of clubs in the world for me, right, are clubs that win their league consistently. Or you have to have had at least won the league that you're in at some point in the last 60 years, which we have.
You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. You're trying to make excuses for a position that I don't hold. My position is that to come out, right, and allow that rumor to exist is equal to endorsing it.
But I don't disagree with him. And you can use that as an argument to say, I don't want Jules Koundé at this club, right? But I don't know much about Jules Koundé, so I'm not like a Koundé expert. I'm just saying, I wish more players had the mentality within our organization. I wish we could attract more players that had those type of aspirations, right? It's like, okay, so Harry Kane wants to leave Spurs. Do you hold that against him? There's lots and lots of people in the Tottenham fan base who say, Harry Kane has my blessing to leave Tottenham.
I wouldn't blame him at all.
What is the difference between Harry Kane wanting to leave Tottenham and Jules Koundé not wanting to come.
I don't blame him for not wanting to come. It's not my point. He doesn't want to come. That's fine. Right? To say you're too good for a club.
Is Harry Kane arrogant?
No, I don't think Harry Kane's arrogant.
So Koundé is arrogant because he thinks he's too good for Tottenham, but Harry Kane is not arrogant. Also thinks that he is too good for Tottenham.
He's never come out and said, I'm too good for Tottenham. He never
He's
said
never
that the reason
he's
why.
never refuted it. He's
Hold
never
on.
refuted it.
Hold on. No one's even made the claim that he said. You're making that claim now. So you're saying that because Cody Mack.
There is way more evidence to suggest that Harry Kane wants to leave Spurs than there is to say
wanting
that
to
Jules
leave
Koundé
a club
doesn't
you've been
want
at
to
since
come.
you were 12 is different than being 23 and have right now accomplished all in football, saying you are too good for another club.
Jules Koundé's won the Europa League.
So because he won an Europa League, in where he didn't start the majority, that was the first season he was at Sevilla. He wasn't a week in, week out. So he started a lot of games towards the end of the season. He won an Europa League, so now he's too good. A guy who won an Europa League is too good for a club that was in the Champions League final 2 years ago.
I don't put Tottenham.
How many times?
I don't put Tottenham in the same category. Like
he's not too good to play for Sevilla, right?
Well, if he's trying to leave,
he's not trying to.
He's open to.
He's open to.
Sevilla are in the Champions League.
Yeah, how many finals have they been to? None. Never in their history have they ever been to a Champions League final. So how Sevilla? Where is as big a club as Sevilla is?
Yes, but I don't put Sevilla in the upper echelon of world football.
Right, but we're in a better league than Sevilla is. So therefore, it's not a sideways step to Tottenham. It may not be the preferred step. Look, if he would have come out and said, hold on. If he would have, so he's either calling the club he plays for a second tier team, or if he would have come out and said, look, I would like to play, my dream is to play for a world-class club. And so I'm just going to I'm going to sit here till the end of the summer and value all my options and make a decision there. No problem. No problem. When you start denigrating or putting things beneath you, to me, that's arrogant. If he didn't say that, that's fine. But right now, all I have is that a reporter said that he considers Tottenham Hotspur as a second tier team.
We are.
We're not.
We are.
Because we had one bad season, we're a second tier team.
No. However you want to chop it up, we're a second tier. The only way that we are not a second tier team is infrastructure. In terms of our track record in the last 30 years, I don't know how far do you want to go back?
How far do you want to go back? Why do you got to go back 30 years?
How far do you want to go back? You want to go back a decade? What have we won?
So you're only a first tier team if you win something?
If you're going to implement a tier system, yes. Fucking absolutely you have to win something to be considered among the upper echelon. First tier team. Manchester
the Wolves are a
United.
first tier team.
Wolves.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Ask them why they won the championship.
No. Now you're putting words in my mouth.
You said they won something.
Top 5 leagues. Europe's top 5 leagues.
Okay.
Consistent success plus championships plus trophies. Right? Real Madrid. Here's my top tiers.
Sevilla win.
Okay? Your top tier of European football. Okay? When it comes to the Premier League, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City over the last 10 years.
Liverpool.
Maybe. One league title, and no domestic cup since 2013 or 2012 for Liverpool.
League title,
Maybe.
Champions League.
Maybe you could a hell of a lot more than what we've done, right? Fairly consistent success, but they also had a 3 or 4 year stretch where they weren't winning very much, and they weren't in the Champions League either, right?
Okay.
So I would put Liverpool in the maybe, but for sure, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea. That's from the Premier League. Real Madrid and Barcelona from La Liga. Juventus, Inter Milan from Serie A. Paris Saint-Germain from France. Bayern Munich from Germany. That is your top tier right there. We're not close to those clubs.
So top tier is
that is how small. That's how I look at it.
City, Chelsea, United, maybe Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich,
Barcelona,
PSG,
Juventus, Inter Milan, PSG,
Juventus, Inter Milan,
Champions League in 2010, and a league title on the back end. Consistently top 4.
Oh, we were consistently top 4. We had more consistent top 4 finishes than Liverpool over
the last 10 years. No,
yes, we have
4 seasons in the Champions League out of 10 is not consistency.
No. We have more.
We're not on the same level as Inter Milan. We're not.
We have had more Champions League appearances in the last 10 years than Liverpool has.
Champions League appearance football club. That's excellent. Does not make us top tier football. Fucking Fenerbahce has a lot of Champions League appearances. Are they in the top tier of world football? We are not among the elite clubs. If you're gonna, wherever you want to, you can define it however you. That's how I look at it. We are not.
I base top
elite.
tier based
We were
on
on the precipice. Not anymore.
I base top tier team on revenue, position, table position, right? And based on competition played. Do I rate PSG as highly as I rate Manchester City? No, I don't.
You rate PSG as high as
their
us?
Trophies. I would say they're higher than us. PSG is higher than us. I would say PSG is a step up from Tottenham, of course. But is PSG equal to Manchester City or even any of the top 4? I see the top 4 English spots being equivalent to the top spot in the other 4 leagues.
No, I don't see there being that huge disparity.
There is a huge disparity.
You can say that.
If we were in League A, there would never be a time that we didn't finish top 4, period.
Villarreal beat Manchester United in the Europa League final this year.
If we were in League A, there would never be a season where we didn't finish top 4.
There would also never be a season where we won the league.
It's not true. Did PSG win the league this year?
That doesn't mean that we would have beaten Lille. But
we have beaten Lille.
So, okay, does that mean Arsenal is in the upper echelon of world football for you?
Over the last decade? No.
So we are, but they aren't.
Yeah, we're above Arsenal. Over
How
the last
fuck does
decade.
that work?
Because we finished above Arsenal every year for almost the last decade.
They have more trophies.
I don't care about trophies. I don't. If you're winning an FA Cup, does that make you a better team? No, you had a good game. Whoop-de-doo, flip-de-flop. I don't give a shit about domestic cups. I just don't. I don't. Domestic cups mean squat when it comes to the power ranking of a club.
Okay, so in the last 10 years, who has more Champions League qualifications, Tottenham or Arsenal?
In the last 10 years?
Yeah.
I would say it's about 50-50.
No, Arsenal have more.
How? We finished above them.
They were
the
in the
last 6
Champions
years.
League every year up until 16-17. So they were in the Champions League.
10 years from
Champions League. Right, but what's the tiebreaker? They were in the Champions League just as much as we were. Plus they have trophies. Anyways, we could debate this all day. For me, the upper tier, I defined it, and I don't see how we're a part of it.
That's fine, but any player
having a nice stadium that generates lots of revenue does not put us in the upper echelons of world football.
Where are we at revenue-wise in world football?
What does that matter? What does that matter? What does that matter if we can't attract players?
We can't attract players because the income is being mismanaged.
What player? This is the context of the debate. What player is going to look at Tottenham and say, Tottenham makes lots of money, I'm going to go there? Fucking zero. They're going to look at Tottenham and say, can I go win something there? And the answer right now is fucking no. So, yeah, you're damn right I'm going to put us in the second tier if we make it into the, depending where you want to cut the second tier off. We are not on the same level as Real Madrid. We are not on the same level as Barcelona.
Where does the second tier stop? Where does the first tier stop?
Well, I already said Bayern Munich from Germany, Inter Milan, and Juventus from Italy, PSG from France.
You know, Inter Milan's not even the top 26 on UEFA's coefficient, right?
I don't care. They're in the Champions League all the time. They're in the Champions League all the time. They win trophies. And they have a league title. They have a league title and a Champions League title in the last 10 years. Right?
So the coefficient's bullshit, is basically what you're saying.
Fucking Roma's higher than us in the coefficient.
Yeah.
The context of the debate is why Jules Koundé thinks we're a second-tier club. What player is going to look at UEFA coefficient and say, that's where I want to go because that's where they are in the UEFA coefficient? The Europa Conference League, have you seen the points that you get for UEFA coefficient? It's almost on par with the Champions League. That doesn't make us an elite world club. It doesn't.
My point is who would you rather play for? A weak league, right? Top team in a weak league, or a strong league with a team who has the capacity to reach finals?
I don't see how that fits.
If you're a competitor,
the debate is about whether or not Tottenham are a top tier club.
My debate, what I'm arguing is, are we beneath
I don't look
Koundé?
at the Premier League. I don't look at the Premier League as being far and away the greatest league in the world. I do not look down upon the other leagues.
The data
is it? Yeah, no. Obviously, it's the best league in the world, but I don't think that the gap is as big as what you're inferring. But even in the context, even in that context, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck does Jules Koundé care about us having been in the Champions League 5 years ago? Even in the context of it being a strong league, it's a strong league that we didn't come close to winning. It's a strong league that we didn't
play in the Premier League. Now, if he's choosing between us and Chelsea, look, like I said, I don't have a problem with him choosing a better club over us. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with him disrespecting Tottenham Hotspur and saying we are beneath him, his level, when he's accomplished nothing. If he's not above us as a player. He's not. We have players on our squad who have won far more trophies, far bigger trophies than the one measly poop trophy that he's won.
Who's that?
We have World Cup winners in our side.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So not only is he insulting every other player who plays for our squad, but he's insulting us as a fan base as well, that we are not worthy of his presence. Well, then fuck you. Don't come. I don't care. If he would just simply come out and said, look, I want to play in the Champions League next year. I'm going to hold out and weigh my options.
We agree on that, but I don't disagree with him saying that we're a second-tier club. We are.
He may be right, but it's not that. That's not my point. My point is him putting himself above us. That we are unworthy of his.
He's
presence.
at a point in his career where he's at a crossroads.
No, he's a 23-year-old kid who's full of himself.
Man, careers are short. You never know when it's going to come to an end.
What did Sevilla win last season?
They finished in the top 4, but the year before they won Europa League.
Okay.
If I'm Jules Koundé, and I have the opportunity to go to either Chelsea or Tottenham, I'm going to Chelsea.
Of course, I'm not arguing that.
So
this was before he was even tied with Chelsea. Before Chelsea had even made a bid for him.
Right, but
my
Sevilla,
point at
Sevilla
the
are in the
time,
Champions League.
Who would you rather play for, Sevilla or Tottenham Hotspur? Tottenham
year?
Hotspur all day
This
long.
year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that I disagree with you. You're way off the mark.
You're not tying your future. You're not tying your future just for 1 year if you come to Tottenham. And
who would you rather play for, Sevilla or Arsenal?
I'm sorry, but you're talking
Who
about...
would you rather play for, Sevilla or Arsenal?
Sevilla.
No.
Yes.
No.
Fucking Arsenal are a mess.
It's the league. It's the Liga, man.
I would stay at Sevilla 1 more year rather than commit to Arsenal for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
No, if you're in the Liga and you're hitting anybody outside the top, you're passing up anybody outside. If you're not playing for Barcelona or Real Madrid, and you're playing in the Liga and you're passing up the Premier League, anyone outside the top 8 spots, you're full of yourself.
That is hugely disrespectful to Sevilla, Atletico Madrid, and the rest of La Liga, and I don't agree with it.
It is. Atletico Madrid maybe would be an exception to that. They won the league, so Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. All the other teams can go suck on one. I don't care.
Madrid in the elite tier before I put Tottenham in the elite tier.
Huh?
I would put Atletico Madrid. Of course, Atletico Madrid have won the Champions League. They've won the league multiple times.
Atletico Madrid definitely deserves to be there. 100%. Yeah. The other teams in the league, no. They don't.
Agree to disagree. For me,
Sevilla's entire club history, quarterfinals in Champions League is the farthest they've ever made. They've never been to a final.
You know how many times they've won Europa?
6.
Yep.
So they're the best of the second tier.
More than we are.
They've been in that second tier far more times than we have.
Which also proves my point.
No, because we were playing in the first tier.
For 4 years. In the history of the Champions League, for 4 years, we were in it.
We've been in the Champions League more than 4 years.
What was it, 5? 4 years consecutive under Poch and 1 under Redknapp? How long has the Champions League been around? 25, 30 years?
Okay. So in those 5 years, we've gotten farther. We finished farther in the Champions League than they have.
Sevilla ended up in Europa because they were in the Champions League to begin with.
And they get dropped out of the group stages.
That's fine. They're there. We aren't.
We've made it further in that competition more regularly than they have. That's a simple fact. Why are you arguing it?
I'm not saying Sevilla is above us in the pecking order, but they do deserve respect.
What, did I say that they were worse than Newcastle?
No.
I said they're not as good as the top 8 teams. Sevilla is not as good as Arsenal in the Premier League. That's what I said. Why do people like to argue and like make things that I didn't say like to be some kind of disrespectful bullshit when I didn't even say it? The top who finished top 8 last season. They're not as good as Leicester. They're not as good as Arsenal. They're not as good as West Ham was last season. They're not as good as Liverpool, City, Chelsea. They're not.
I think Sevilla are probably better than we are.
They're not. They're not.
Agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree, but I don't think there's any reason why they're better than us.
I don't think you've made a convincing case for Tottenham being in the upper echelon of world football. Which means
in the last 10 years,
which means even if what was said about what Jules Koundé said, even if that is true, doesn't make him wrong.
Okay. With the exception of last season,
I don't think players give a shit about what we did 5 years ago when they're making a decision like that, when they're looking at us as an option. I wouldn't.
Why would you not? You have to look at what the possibility of the team is in the league that you're playing
that
against.
history
What
is
players
gone.
am I playing against?
That has no bearing on what the squad is now.
That's fine. I don't look. If you're playing for Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, you're playing with quality. You're playing with world-class players. You're playing against things, right? I agree with you. Doing something at that level is fine. If you're playing for any other side in La Liga, people get mad that I'm insulting the league. I'm sorry. That's why it's only the second best league in the world and not the first, right? The depth by any rating system developed by mankind, it is supposed to be as least biased as possible, rates La Liga as a less competitive league than the Premier League. And that is what it is. If you're moving from a lower league to a higher league to a team who is, up until this last year, been in or around Europa or Champions League football for the last 10 years. Right, this is the first time in 12 years that we haven't been in Europa League or in Champions League. Why would you automatically shun it based on one season of mishap that was riddled by manager sackings and injuries and player non-rebuilds?
Why would you sign away 5 years of your career to come to a team in the state of Tottenham Hotspur when you have the opportunity to wait and get
When
the
that
move,
comment was
the move
made,
that has now been presented to him?
it's fine. It's the disrespect of saying it.
I'm sorry. It's the truth. It is the truth.
It can be the truth. It's still disrespectful. If my wife weighs 200 pounds and I call her fat, it's still true.
I don't find it disrespectful.
Calling somebody fat's not disrespectful.
It's not the same thing.
It is the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
How is it not the same thing? If you're a professional athlete, right? Disrespecting another club publicly is disrespectful.
So what? If you're speed dating, if you're speed dating and you've got a hot blonde or whatever is your cup of tea sitting,
okay,
come down,
yep,
and a troglodyte sits down in front of you,
yep. I would talk to her and I would entertain her for the speed dating time, and I would say, "Great, had a great time. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
have a good nice day." I wouldn't say,
How would Tottenham
"Hey,
fans,
fatty, don't even waste your time."
How would Tottenham fans react if Jules Koundé said, "I would certainly love to make a move to Tottenham, and I think they're a top tier club," and then he fucked off to Chelsea?
That's not how you're presenting a presentation that I didn't say. What did I say he should have said?
You just said that you should entertain the fat girl and tell her to go on a real date.
No. I didn't say lie to her. You said speed dating. We're sitting at a table. Things change every 5 minutes, right? I'm going to talk to her while she's sitting there. I'll say, it was nice to meet you. Have a nice night. And let her go on. I'm not going to say, hey, fatty, get up from the table. There's no chance. It's not what I say. That's rude. It's disrespectful.
I really don't think that it's on the same level.
It is. How's it not on the same level? Not. Saying someone's beneath you is the same level.
Saying that Tottenham is not in the top tier, saying that Tottenham is a second tier club, which is true, I don't find it disrespectful. We don't even know for sure that he said it. Let's make that clear. But no, for me, it's like, okay.
It's so very clear that we don't know for a fact he necessarily said it.
Tottenham are free to go and seek alternatives without wasting their time, right? It's almost like the girl that you're not interested sits down in front of you in the speed dating and you say, I am not interested. Goodbye. Everyone gets to save the time and the energy that would have gone into it.
No, there's a difference. If you say, thank you, but no thank you, right? That's all you could have said too. Thank you, but no thank you. That's not being disrespectful. But if someone sits down at the table in front of you speed dating and say, you're not good enough for me.
I don't have a problem with someone saying the truth, even if it hurts.
You can say the truth without being disrespectful. That's all I'm saying.
It's a fact. It's not disrespectful if it's a simple fact.
Okay, so then calling someone fat's not disrespectful. Cool. That's cool. I'm black and white.
There's a human element that you're inserting into this. It's a bad analogy.
Human. It's not a bad analogy. It's not a bad analogy. It's totally analogous.
No, this is like being on a farm and saying that there's a tractor that can't do the job. Is that disrespectful? Tottenham Hotspur are an institution.
Are you saying like if I'm going to buy a tractor from a person and I say no, I make way too much money to buy your tractor? Is that disrespectful? Yes. If I go to a farm to buy a tractor and that tractor's a piece of shit, and I go to the owner and I say I'm way too wealthy to buy your tractor, is that disrespectful? 1,000%.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
It is the same.
No, it's not. It's not. If you go to a tractor dealership and you look at a tractor that's too small to do the job, and you say that tractor is too small to do the job, is that disrespectful? That's how I look at him saying that we're a second tier club. We cannot provide him with the opportunity to win a major honor.
We
can't do the job. We're the tractor that's too small. Sorry. It's the truth. I have no problem with him saying it. In fact, the clarification is freeing. Go forth and find the opportunity that you and so apparently the rest of world
still trying to sign him.
Who's trying to sign him?
Everybody, the Fabrizio Romano, us being linked to him, people doing reports on him. He's still an option. Koundé's still an option. Why? As soon as he said that, I was like, I don't want him at the club. Period. He doesn't want to play for us, and he doesn't have to play for us.
Now we're the fat girl trying to get the hot date.
Yeah. If I'm the fat girl trying to get the hot date, that's fine. I don't want some asshole who says that he's too good for me. I don't want him.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
No. I don't want someone who doesn't value me. Right? Romero, far better defender than Koundé, in my opinion, says that he wants to come to Tottenham.
That's fine.
Atlanta's in the Champions League.
You cannot want Koundé, but that doesn't make him wrong. My daughter's awake though. We gotta wrap this up. It was going in circles a little bit anyway.
Wrap it up. Anyway, folks. Yeah, I got no problem wrapping it up. I gotta pee anyway. So
yeah, I gotta pee.
Folks, it's always a good fun show. Me and Cody, we keep it lively. 2 hours of nonstop action.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this because I haven't been able to pay attention to the comments at all.
I haven't either.
I've been popping in. It's been fire in there. I will say that. There's people.
Let me make sure I got all my super chats.
You know, you've got a good conversation going when the debate extends into the comments section.
Yeah. We've held viewers for a long time too. I don't think it's dropped below 95% 145 for the last 2 hours. So up to like 150, I think, at the highest point. Let me see here. Analytics. Peak concurrent viewers. 129. 131. So pretty steady.
Thanks for all the love in the comments, everybody. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, like, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Make sure you guys go and follow Cody on Twitter at ComacDo. Let me turn that on for you so people can see how you spell. Let's move our eggs out of the way. You got it. At ComacDo on the Twitters. Make sure you guys go follow Cody. You'll never find a more sarcasm-filled Twitter page in all of Spurdom. It's a lot of fun. And no, Cody, always love having you. I love our debates too. And good luck with the move. Thank you very much, folks. I don't know who else is streaming now.
I don't know.
Sure, somebody's gonna go at some point.
David's always streaming.
David won't be streaming for another 40 minutes or so, most likely.
It's like Paxton Road TV is streaming right now. If you're looking for further Tottenham
throw that link in the chat if you want.
Yeah, they're talking about. It looks like they're talking about Fabio.
Go raid Paxton Road's channel. Tell them that rants raid. Or bald raid. BBTB. BBTB. There you go. Go click on that link and go watch Mr. Paxton Road. Folks, we are the Bald and Bearded Tottenham Boys. We hope to be back this time next week. We'll see you next time. And stay strong.
Stay Spurs.
Stay Spurs. Keep it boring.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go now.